let's take a look at how to set up a normal curve when given the mean and standard deviation for a population set. Okay, and so it doesn't matter what this information is for, but we know that we have a normally distributed data set that has a mean of 24 and a standard deviation of 5. And so let's pull out that information, right? Mean of 24 means that mu is equal to 24. I remember that some forms are going to use x bar instead of mu to represent your mean. And our standard deviation of 5, that's represented by sigma. So sigma is equal to 5. Now when we go to set up our graph, we are going to take that mean value of 24, and that's what goes directly in the middle, right? 24. And to get our other values, we're simply going to take the standard deviation of 5, and we're going to add it and subtract it as we go section to section. So if I'm going to the right for my mean, 24 plus 5 is 29. So one standard deviation above the mean would be a value of 29. 29 plus 5 gives us 34, which would be 2 standard deviations above the mean. 34 plus 5 gives us 39, which would be 3 standard deviations above the mean. Going back in the opposite direction, right, if I subtract 5 from 24, I get 19. So one standard deviation below the mean would be a value of 19. Subtract 5 again. 19 minus 5 gives us 14, which would be 2 standard deviations below the mean. And one more time, 14 minus 5 gives us 9, which would be 3 standard deviations above the mean. All right, and so once again, as we're going down, all we need to do is add the standard deviation to each value we have to get the next. In the other direction, we're just subtracting instead of adding. All right, so that sets up our normal curve for the empirical rule. And then after we've got our values, usually they're going to ask us something about either the probability or about the actual values within the set. And so from there, it's helpful to add the different section probabilities, right? So 68% within one standard deviation means 34 and 34. 95% within 2 standard deviations. Remember, our next value was 13.5% and 13.5%. Outside of that, we're going to have, right, 2.35% on both sides. And outside of 3 standard deviations was the 0.15% that's left over. Now, whatever they're asking us to find, we're set up to analyze and pull the relevant information.